Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University and Brave and the Bold, Batman and Wonder Woman, issue number 4 of 6. So check this out. This is one of those books where it's like I get overwhelmed with joy when I see that it's come out and it's on the shelves, and oh yeah, I could buy another one with one of these gorgeous covers. At the same time, it's also very intimidating. No joke. I make no bones about it. It's a very intimidating book because it's like not too many of us, me included, just don't know that much about Gaelic, Irish mythology. So this is something else. Like, it's a challenge every time you're about to pick up one of these books. Well, this book is probably going to be the most challenging of them all because it really, besides just seeing different characters and having the visualization of, okay, here, this book actually delves deep into Irish folklore. And they're just throwing names at you that you're not going to recognize and giving you history and battles and all sorts of crazy part where you're just like, what? But you got to read it because it means something. So by the end, when you kind of get the story, Batman and Wonder Woman go off. And you get to see they go off, they go someplace else. They start walking around and they visit the tomb of this king. Now, when they get there, there's just, the little bit of conversation where it's like, oh, this is where he went so that he could be alone, so that he can actually think and dwell on the future. So Batwoman. So Wonder Woman's like, oh, so it's kind of like his Bat cave? He's like, I guess. Shut up. That's not, shut up, Wonder Woman. Anyway, so she's like, okay, we should leave because this is not our place to be. It's like, well, here's the thing. How did a fresh leaf get trapped underneath a 10,000-year-old stone? Whoa, Batman he knows what he's doing. Now, if you were thinking to yourself before, Batman's not getting enough of his, thing going on. Yeah, he found that little hag stone before, but, what exactly is he going to be doing now? Well, besides, that little bit of detective work there, he also recites this phrase in Gaelic. Perfect Gaelic. Now, of course, Wonder Woman knows Gaelic because that's one of the things about being a Themyscirian. You've memorized ancient languages, including caveman. Like there was only one caveman language. Anyway, you've studied all these languages before. So he pronounces in perfect Gaelic this saying. She's like, wow, that was actually pretty good. She doesn't question, why did you decide to learn Gaelic? Because I'm Batman. You don't set Batman up for an I'm Batman comment. You don't do that, all right? Superhero Cafe, baby. But what happens is she says, where did you learn that saying? He says, it was inscribed on her ring. So he not only speaks it, but he reads perfect Gaelic also. Because I'm Batman. So they go down, and it's actually his tomb. And they see, his silver arm laying there and just all this crazy, like the history of the silver arm and why it was necessary is there. So I understand that a lot of people are going to be like, okay, this is boring. No, don't do that to yourself. Seriously, don't do that to yourself. Respect this story because you're going to get a reward out of it. So he realizes that this is not actually the correct arm. There's a glamour here, and he uses Hagstone to see that. But all of a sudden, the queen shows up. Who was just talking to him really nicely. And I'm thinking, okay, like she's there with the Fomor and the Fomorians, and it's like this is bad, man. This is really bad. They were already told earlier by Cernanon, don't show up. Don't, stop following them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you attacked them unprovoked and everything. Oh, they accused us. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Nobody accused you of anything. They just asked you questions. You are not to follow them anymore. But they follow because that's what they do. Anyway, so they all come up and they're about to attack. And Wonder Woman's like, please don't do this. We don't want to hurt you. And it's like, oh, yes, Wonder Woman. Do it, like let them know that you're about to unload on them. But instead, Batman's like, Queen, wait, here's a Hagstone. Take a look at his arm. And you realize it's not actually his arm. Somebody replaced that arm, which means that somebody came and desecrated the tomb long before they desecrated the tomb. I have a hard time with this one particular part because I'm more of the opinion that, hey, man, you need to do an autopsy on a loved one to see exactly what the cause of death was. You go ahead and you do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to know. I actually want to know for certain. So when they, so here when it's like, nope, don't do any kind of investigations, that's kind of, to me, that reeks of foul play to me. So I'm thinking that the Queen had something to do with this. We don't necessarily know if she did or not, but it seems as though she didn't, because when she finds out that the arm has been replaced, it's like, whoa, who took my husband's arm? So that's interesting. Anyway, there's about to be a war declared, and the captain of the Fomor Guard, the head chieftain, whatever, he's actually taken prisoner by one of the Didanan. Dude, this is so deep. This is so deep. Like, you're entrenched in it now. Excuse me. Again, this is a very hard comic book to read. There's a hard title to read if you don't know that much about Irish mythology. But this particular issue is an extremely hard one because there's like no action. There's the threat of action, but it doesn't actually happen. So zero action in this one, and I know a lot of people are like, if there's no action in a comic book, what's the purpose? I don't want to read a novel. Well, it's a visual novel. But the idea is that, yes, there's a lot of history, a lot of backstory, a lot of mythology, a lot of mythological history, and no real combat. So this is going to be a very hard one for a lot of people to get through. But I think that this is like the Wednesday hump. Now that this one's out of the way, we're going to have the next issue, which is going to be pretty cool and lead to an awesome climax, or the preamble to the climax, and then of course the actual final issue, which should be pretty amazing. It should be pretty epic. I am digging the heck out of this series, man. This is amazing. I can't give this anything less than a B+. Again, going to be a hard book to get through, but I think it's going to be worth it. Just to get to the end was worth it for me, because seeing Batman actually, here's this, be a detective, not just be this guy who's good at beating up people. I don't care that Batman can beat up people. That's the aside for me, that he's not too worried about, oh no, I've been surrounded by 20 thugs. Feel bad for them. They should have packed a lunch. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not worried about Batman beating up on people. I want him to be an awesome detective. You get that in this comic book. That says something right there. I love that. All right, guys, that's it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.